Hey, I'm your host, Bree Wild, and this is Marquee Memories. Here we sit down with your favorite artists to talk about their top concert memories as fans. Today's guests are a rising indie rock band from Wrexham, Wales. It's their first time in North America. They're supporting Louis Tomlinson on his arena tour. Following that, they're playing some festivals, as well as supporting Two Door Cinema Club and Kings of Leon. Welcome to the Royston Club.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah. So, it's your first time in North America?
We did
second
time. We did South by Southwest a couple of years ago. But first time.
But that wasn't a full tour.
No, not full tour. First time properly touring, first time in California. So feels very surreal being here. It's cool, isn't it?
Can you share some highlights?
We've only been here 4 or 5 days.
We had a great house.
but
We had a great house in LA. That's been a highlight, to be honest. The whole having a pool in your back garden.
So
Kind of a new experience for us. You don't get much of that in North Wales, so that was pretty cool.
Also, I'd say for me, the Golden Gate Bridge.
yeah, that was amazing.
That
very
surprised
I thought
me
it was
how
going to
much.
be really underwhelming, and it actually wasn't. So that was a lot of time for that.
So, supporting Louis Tomlinson means you're playing some really big venues. How do you approach that? How do you go from, smaller gigs to filling out the space in a...
I think for us, it's been quite a gradual ascent from going from these small, local venues to the bigger ones over the past 6-7 years. It's been a nice, increase in size. So now it doesn't feel too daunting. Feels quite natural.
And we've just done an arena support with Richard Ashcroft, the guy from the Verve, in
nice.
the UK just before we came out here, pretty much. So it doesn't feel too much of like a terrifying step up, thankfully.
Do you alter the set list at all compared to who you're opening for?
No,
Not really.
No.
Just like how long the set is,
Okay.
then we'll decide what to take out, what to put in.
Yeah,
But
got
I
our
don't think it
favourite
really.
half an hour, haven't we?
Yeah,
We love our half an hour. Anything
Yeah, we
past
got-
45, it's a bit...
we struggle then.
Your album Songs for a Spine is about to be 1 year old
Gotcha.
Is it?
in
Yeah.
August.
Damn, it is.
Yeah.
man.
So how does that feel now? Does it feel like a cozy sweater that you put on, or are you itching to make new music?
I like that.
Oh, yeah,
it's a
Cozy Sweater
cozy
sounds good. Yeah, I like that.
We're currently writing album 3, but I still think it feels quite new.
Still feels new, yeah. Can't kind of believe it's a
even-
year, to be honest. That's
Yeah.
pretty crazy.
We've only just started playing one of the songs on the album as well live, so it's still quite refreshing to play, isn't it?
Yeah, I think so. It'll it still feels fresh, and I think it will do for a while, to be honest. It's especially because you kind of keep touring it in new places, like being out here, it gets a sort of whole different reaction to the UK, where most people sort of heard it a little bit. So I think it still feels fresh.
Brand new to everybody here.
Oh
Yeah, exactly. No one has a clue we are. So it's sound.
Well, let's get into some of these memories.
Seat Headrest, Albert Hall, Manchester, 2018. Yeah, it feels a little bit harsh because kind of half the band don't share this memory, but
They're there in spirit.
they're in spirit. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, this was like one of the first gigs we went to on our own, really. We just started playing music together as well. So I think it was quite a formative memory and inspirational for sure. And they were amazing. Their favourite band at the time. I think Teens of Denial had just come out. And we loved it.
Yeah,
It was
amazing,
all we
really
played in the
amazing.
van for the first couple of years of touring. Knew every lyric, and it was amazing. I remember I just had surgery on my knee prior to the gig, about a month before, and the gig finished, and it went over by about 10-15 minutes, and we had the last train back to North Wales, and we knew we needed to catch it. And I'd just come off crutches like the week before, and me and Tom had to sprint through Manchester, and I think it's why my knee's still fucked. To be honest with you.
to carry, to be honest.
Yeah,
some
you should have,
some homeless dude was doing the Run Forest Run as you kind of just sprinted past him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pretty humiliating.
It was a crippling little well,
Literally.
Yeah. but yeah, it was a great gig though, and they were a band that we like you said, we loved them. Kind of did them so much in the van to the point where I can't really listen to them much anymore. But yeah, they were great. It was the first time, like you said, sort of going without family and stuff like that, and seeing a proper live show. I remember the lights were really amazing as well. It was a really it was a great set.
It was. It was quite inspirational. I remember for the next 6 months, every time we were in band practice, it'd be like, oh, well, we could do it like this Seat Headrest song. And
Just completely rip it off for a little bit.
Yeah.
What do you remember specifically about the show? Do you remember there was any songs you were hoping for, or?
Beach Life and Death for me. It's like this 15-minute tune they've got, and I remember just being at the front screaming at Will. because it's one of those tunes you just listen to on your own driving and in the bedroom. So to be able to look straight at him and scream at him, that was quite cool.
Drink Drive, Killer Whales.
Yeah, and the lights for that.
Yeah,
I
lights
still remember all
amazing.
that.
It was one of those gigs as well where they kind of played everything you want them to play. You know, quite often you go to a gig and you just buzzing for certain songs that they don't play because they feel like they're better than that or whatever. But he just played all the hits. It's kind of what you want.
It was perfect.
Also, he was wearing pajamas. I remember that.
He's wearing pajamas.
Yeah,
Sure.
basically pajamas. Yeah. Was
Sure
that
you
a
haven't just
big-
added that detail in your mind.
Maybe I have. Yeah. Something to do with the injury.
Yeah.
How did you become a fan? How did you discover this band?
I think it came on my
Like
Discover
a
Weekly.
Yeah, I think Discover Weekly.
Yeah.
Which for all like the slagging off of Spotify, it is pretty great, the Discover Weekly. Kind of pick up a lot of stuff.
Did you see them again after that at all? After that first show?
No, they don't
No,
tour much, do
no. He had a health problem. I think he hurt his voice or something.
they? Yeah.
And so they haven't been back to the UK in a very long while. But
And it's one of those bands, like I said as well, that we don't listen to loads anymore. But at the time, it was just absolutely amazing. So it was kind of
I still
the
do
perfect
quite a
time
lot,
to see him. Yeah.
Yeah.
I can't listen to him after the van, to be fair.
Really?
Just done it to death.
The soundtrack for a specific point in your
I
life, sort of.
definitely. I'd say so.
It's more nostalgic now,
Yeah.
I'd say.
So you were already playing music at this time, so it was very inspirational. What elements do you think you tried to take from?
I think at that point it was the three of us playing. We hadn't yet brought Sam along as a drummer. And we were just doing covers in Dave's barn and butchering them. And then seeing that, it was kind of like, oh, these songs are amazingly crafted and, you know, so much emotion in all the songs that it was such an inspiration to be like, oh, we can do that. You know, we've got our own experiences we can write about. And
like real live sound as well, wasn't it?
oh,
No sort of track and padding and like you could hear everything that was being played on the stage, which is kind of a big thing we try and do now.
When you write and record the albums, are you thinking like all these songs will be played live at some point?
Definitely
on the
the
last
last one more.
one, yeah.
Way more on the last one, where it was kind of tried to strip the parts down to this can be played. All bar one can all be played with this, like the four of us live on stage, pretty much. Which is I think it helps translate better to fans when you're trying to pick fans up, really. But I think we tried to do that a bit.
Yeah.
All right, then let's go to The Strokes.
The Strokes Rhythm Festival 2022.
Just remember what a ridiculously good lineup it
Yeah.
was. Like the set in general, it's like a little seaside town in England and doesn't really have any right to get as many good bands in as it does. But this one was like Wet Leg, who just released their first album. Then Fontaines.
That was right after their third one, wasn't it?
Right
Yeah,
after the third one.
yeah.
And then the Strokes, it just had no right to be that good,
50
really.
quid as
Wow.
well.
Like 50 quid,
which was
yeah.
insane.
You had to be there for the whole thing.
Oh,
yeah,
pretty
Yeah,
much.
a lot of wine was.
Oh, I mean, yeah,
A lot of
some of the
songs
memories are a
with
little
songs
patchy,
as
but like amazing lineup, and has been like every year they have
Yeah.
really great lineups there. So it's a bit of a hack if you live in the north, really.
So is this close to where you are? Is it?
It's an
Yeah,
hour's
so-
drive.
you know,
Yeah.
Yeah. So we saw Stevie Wonder there a couple of years after as
Yeah,
well.
I got that one down there.
I'll leave that.
Whoa.
I think did they just release New Abnormal, or was it they were in the?
I think
they're on the
it's-
new album.
Yeah.
And we all loved those tunes.
Yeah.
Still do.
I think it
Great.
was. I didn't really listen to bands as much as you guys. I guess you all listened to school together, so I didn't really know the Strokes at all. So I was only really going out of FOMO. So I was
So
like,
we left
I'm not really
behind.
that bothered by it, and then I guess 15 years later to the party, I was like, these guys are pretty fucking
That's
good,
pretty
man.
good.
And then since then, I've been hooked since then anyway. But yeah, slightly late, but it was a game-changing experience seeing them and being like, that's the top of like indie music.
It's like
That's
the
is it?
pinnacle of
Yeah.
our game, isn't
That's
it?
the best of the best,
Yeah.
pretty much. That was special.
Nice. I want you to take a look at the set list and see if it
let's have a look.
sparks any memories.
What website's this?
Set list,
Hey.
sir.
Go to the Mets.
Yeah,
that's quite the
It's
best
a hell
one
of a
from that
last
album.
like 6 runs.
I like they've got in brackets. Julian invited a girl from the
Oh,
crowd
I
to sing.
remember that.
You
That was
remember
a-
it?
that
She
was
didn't
a
know the
crazy-
lyrics.
It was a really actually painful experience to watch. To be fair, she'd done like the big
I
sort
think
of
she had a sign.
had a
didn't she?
sign like, "Please can I come up and do Ode to the Mets." Sort of saw her go up. You're like, "Oh, she's gonna absolutely crush this. This is gonna be amazing." And then stood there and kind of just fumbled her way through most of it with like Julian in the background, just a bit like
It's like secondhand
shouldn't have done this.
embarrassment.
Yeah, a little bit, and it just wasn't going well. And then I think he actually made some kind of gag at the end of it, didn't he?
Yeah.
So like, next time next time know the words or something like that. So
Yeah, if you hold up a sign,
Well,
you have a
yeah.
responsibility.
Funny enough, this happened to us recently at a gig.
No.
Me and Tom did a small acoustic show
actually,
in
didn't it?
Belfast or Dublin. One of the
Belfast,
two.
yeah, Belfast.
And there was a bloke in the front row. There was only like 50 people in the room. It was a really intimate one. And this bloke was asking us to play our first ever release song. We never play it. So oh, go on then, we'll do it. And then halfway through, Tom gave him the mic and he didn't know any of the words. So
But it wasn't like he'd mentioned it once either. This was like in between every song. It was play Shawshank. Like, oh, fair enough. Just gave him the mic and
butchered it.
yeah, fell at the first hurdle. So I feel Julian's pain.
Maybe he was nervous.
Although I guess
though.
that guy
yeah,
just
do you reckon he's
fumbled in front of
panicked?
50 people. That
Yeah,
girl did it
she's
in front of like 10,000.
yeah.
So slightly worse.
This is a PSA for fans. If you hold up a sign, you have to know.
You
Amen.
got to back it up.
Preach it.
Yeah, you gotta get it done. Have you guys ever held up a sign?
Nah.
No.
I didn't see that, to be honest.
Yeah.
It's like people at footy games, like,
Yeah,
can I have your shirt at the end of a game? No, you can't have their shirt. Just like, stop it. Leave it alone. But,
The first gig my girlfriend came to watch of ours was at a festival, and unbeknownst to me, she held a big sign saying "Ben, sign my chebs," which is like slang for boobs. And then later on in the evening, obviously I saw her after the gig, and I was walking around, and this bloke was like, "Bloody hell, the sign worked." I'm not that easy.
You're like, I actually knew her. Thank you.
Yeah.
Did you see them after that at all? It was 2022, so. Well.
Do you ever
Have we seen them?
No.
I don't think
No,
we
that's
have.
the one
No.
time. Yeah.
Saw at the end of this year, aren't they?
Yeah, we'll
I'm
go to
kind of
that.
keen to go and see how the auto tune plays out. So
Yeah, for going shopping.
for going
Yeah.
shopping, which is controversial. Not sure I love it, but we'll see. So might go see them at the end of the year, but
They're playing a lot of festivals. I'm surprised you might end up on a festival with them at some point.
Maybe.
that'll be pretty awesome. Yeah.
All right. Speaking of festivals,
Glastonbury Festival 2024. You know, it's Glastonbury. I'm sure over here it has the same reputation as just being the
Coachella,
most
World,
incredible. Yeah.
Coachella but messy.
Coachella, but
Yeah,
better,
that's it.
yeah, less people filming, but
Yeah, we
It's an
saw-
incredible festival, and we managed to get on the bill playing a tiny little bar, and obviously we had to carry all our gear through the festival to play this little bar stage about that high off the ground, but completely worth it because we got free tickets for the week. And
did the set like violently hungover as well. I remember you like
There
poking
was
your head
one
around
day
the
it was,
door,
like,
ready to play.
34 degrees or something in this little marquee that's just been baking in the
still
sun all
sweating.
day. I think I woke up at about 12 just
I think the Arctic
Not
Monkeys
good.
were the night
Night
prior,
before, yeah.
and we were just a mess.
just melting.
Got on
Didn't
stage,
didn't
everyone-
want to play.
I recently saw someone on TikTok put up a video of that gig and the gig we did a couple of weeks ago,
Sounded awful.
going like, "Well, they've improved, haven't they?"
Like you'd like to think we'd improved after that one. If we
Yeah.
stayed the same at that level, you'd be in trouble. To be fair, it was wasn't a historic gig. I wouldn't say.
It's amazing Glastonbury though, because just every day you see 4 or 5 of your favourite bands. And
Do so much
Is-
walking. It is literally just a village, isn't it? For
Yeah.
the weekend. It's just so big, so packed with people.
yeah,
When was the first time you went to Glastonbury?
this is
That was
2023.
24.
2023 was the first.
Yeah, we managed to fluke the same stage 2 years in a row because the guy was a fan of us.
Nice.
And then he sacked it off, and then
No,
we're looking for a new way into Glastonbury. That's what I'm trying to say. But we saw Coldplay the second year we went. Who were like the main headline with Arctic Monkeys, and I don't think any of us like massive
really
Coldplay
surprised
fans,
us,
but
yeah.
I think when you're on that pyramid stage, you know, I think anyone could sound good there. Not that they didn't sound good, but it's just kind of like everything around it is just such a
5 years,
special
someone's gonna
place.
play that after we butcher the pyramid
Yeah,
stage.
it's been horrific.
Anyone
can
sounds good
there,
on that stage.
apart from us.
They're kind of a weird gig as well because, like, lots of Coldplay songs are amazing, and lots are
Yeah.
less amazing. So it kind of went from really intense moments of joy to kind of just talking to one another, with everyone like looking like, "Shut the fuck up, Jesus!" But
Brought out Mike McFly as well, didn't he?
but I might McFly.
Yeah, what's he called again?
Michael J. Fox.
Michael J. Fox. He came on stage. It's pretty cool.
Yeah,
Felt a bit like an acid trip. It was just kind of
yeah, it was not,
quite surreal.
Yeah.
When you guys got added to the festival, were you more excited that you got free tickets the rest of the
Yeah.
time? Or were
It
you
was
more excited?
comfortably the free tickets. Like the
if I'm
gig was.
being honest, yeah.
It gave me a bit of an
Back to-
inconvenience, to be fair. So in the second year, he asked us to play multiple times, and we were like,
Oh.
Kind of
no,
the
because
tickets a
I think
little
we played
bit.
like on like the Thursday or the Friday, so it was like right one day, take it easy, and then we can have a good weekend. Whereas this time it was like a Friday, Saturday, Sunday show or something like that, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So all of
Yeah.
a sudden it's like
Ooh, more
No,
work.
it's 3
I gotta
days
do
of
my
our
job
festival
now.
where we have
I'm
to
not sure I
breeze all
signed
these
up for
songs.
Was it me and you that got roped into taking like 4 of the band's gears from like where they parked it?
Yeah, that was like us being the lowest of the low at that festival. To be fair, we ended up like being out till like 1 a.m. dropping off like gear,
Other band's
like
gear.
band's gear,
Yeah.
in the back of a van with some random bloke. I was kind of just reevaluating all my life choices while I was in there. Like,
And I
yeah,
think
this doesn't really
was it in
feel
the
worth
morning
it. To be
you two had
honest.
to take it as well.
Yeah.
Like, you had to take.
Yeah, it was worth it though.
Oh, completely worth it.
It was worth it, but
Amazing
not
weekend.
anymore. The carrying days are over.
You're
Okay.
done with that. So how does Glastonbury compare to other festivals you've been to? What sets it apart?
I think the
Definitely
size
the
of
size is
Yeah.
the main thing.
Yeah.
It's like
The
most
number-
of the
number of
festivals. you sort
stages,
yeah, number of
crazy.
stages. Most festivals you sort of like walk around in half an hour. You can see most people, but you do end up walking like 20 kilometers a day, sort of thing,
Yeah.
because it's
Yeah.
just so far reaching. And also that thing where it's not just like a specific genre of festival, so it's not like an indie festival or any other thing. You, like there's something for
Just
absolutely everyone.
24/7 as well.
Yeah, sort of never really sleep. So
Yeah.
yeah, it's like its weird own little city sort of thing. But,
Look,
You have to make some hard choices at Glastonbury.
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
what I was-
There was
Yeah.
Idols, Fontaines played at the same time last.
had to do the sprint,
years.
didn't they?
Yeah, literally legged
First
it halfway
half of
through
the
the
set.
Idols set,
Yeah.
and then there's our kind of roadie best mate who's like comes on tour with us usually. He's not here unfortunately these couple of weeks, but he sprinted with us. And unfortunately, he'd had some food in the day.
Oh,
so
no.
he just got to Fontaine's, like, yeah, we're going to catch him. And then straight to the Portaloo for the next half an hour.
Were they
He mi-
good?
he missed it, really.
Just about heard him from the portal, I think.
Yeah.
He missed favourite, didn't he? It just came out.
Yeah.
Bless him.
Yeah.
Yeah, shout out Dovan.
Shout out Devan.
If you're watching, Doves.
But no, it is. It's a. I feel like until you've sort of experienced it,
Yeah.
it's a really crazy place to be. But
I feel like the big thing for me as well was there's no like divide between the campsites and the festival. It's just like,
Yeah, yeah.
and everywhere
Yeah.
else in the UK there's always like security and get your bags checked. There's a big difference between it, but you walk in and it's just like have at it. Everyone's free to just do what they want. And I feel like just like you said, it just creates that like little village
Yeah.
vibe about
It's
it.
the amount
Which
of
is
like,
amazing.
big names that are there as well. Like normally at a festival you'd see like 2 or 3 big bands in a day. And then Glastonbury you
band
can
is-
see 7, 8.
it does take fucking
It's
hours to
crazy.
get home though.
Yeah.
It's a big old queue leaving.
Yeah.
But I'd say that's the one downside.
We've always got to end on a moan, haven't we?
Yeah, I like.
I don't know if that's
explaining
just
it,
very
yeah.
British or
Yeah.
what.
It does
But
take about
it's
3
amazing,
hours
but
to
it
get in
puts
and
it-
out.
Yeah,
Build some new
just trying
roads.
to explain it, so everyone really knows before they go.
Save it for Yelp.
I don't think you can review festivals on Yelp.
Thank you for that.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Let's go to Stevie Wonder then.
Stevie Wonder Living Fest in 2025.
Yeah, once again, an incredible pull from this little village. And yeah, we managed to fluke guest list and just, he's like my all-time favourite artist, probably. He's up
What about
there
the
anyway.
Beatles?
Around there, he's the upper echelon.
Inside, man.
And yeah, we got there right before he started, and it just he walked on stage, and the balls, instead of just walking on and playing one of his countless amazing songs, he just did like a 5-minute speech before playing a note. And any other artist, I think that's suicide, isn't it? But everyone was just hanging on every word, and then kicked into, what did he start with? I can't remember, but and then it was just amazing. His voice sounds as
Yeah.
great as it ever did.
Hitting every note.
Yeah.
That was when you announced that he'd made it, didn't you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fucking hell, Stevie.
He brought his kids on stage. And I was like, lads, he's made it, isn't he?
Little place outside
Stevie
Blackpool.
Wonder, yeah.
He's probably made it a while ago. But
Do you remember like how you were introduced to Stevie Wonder? Like when did you first?
My dad's got
well,
it.
you two have been a
My
bit
dad's got a
day
vinyl.
oneers sort of thing, haven't you?
Yeah.
Yeah, my dad had Hotter Than July on vinyl. And we'd just always be playing that. It was like one of the first vinyl albums I ever heard. So from there, I would say.
Did he play all the songs you wanted to hear?
He didn't play Knocks Me Off My Feet, which is my favourite
I think
one.
there were a couple that he didn't play, weren't there?
Yeah. I was really waiting for that one, but he made up for it. Like, it was a long set.
Yeah, 2.5
Yeah.
hours. It was pretty commendable. Anything over an hour for us, I'm like, I'm done. I'm
Did you guys
exhausted.
ever see yourself playing 2.5 hours?
I want like an hour break in the middle.
An intermission.
Intermission,
Yeah,
100%, not solidly. No. I haven't got the minerals for that.
What was your guys' first show?
It was in Wrexham in a little
Yeah.
pub called South Seren, which is 7 stars. And it was just like an open mic night. We just went down and asked if we could play it. It was probably the most nervous I've ever been
Yeah.
for a gig,
I'd
and there were
agree,
about
yeah. It was
8
like-
people in there.
3 crackheads and like one guy at the bar, just barely paying any attention.
Yeah.
I remember walking off like, Jesus
It was a good
Christ,
buzz.
we are unreal.
It was a good
That was
buzz.
unbelievable. Played 4 songs, presumably terribly, but we're like, oh,
Yeah, I do actually
Can't
remember
be
that being
good.
a definite feeling where it was like, yeah, this is the feeling that I want for like the rest of my life.
Yeah.
And it hasn't got there since, to be honest.
That
That
was
was
it.
kind of the peak of it, yeah.
He's waiting.
Yeah.
He's
It will
waiting.
come again. It will come again, hopefully.
We did our first proper gig in there as well, the same place.
Yeah.
About a month after the open mic night,
Yeah.
they invited us back, and we just filled the room with everyone from school. And I think you ended up stage diving. We did like a 5-song set, and then Dave stage dived.
Like, right, this is it. This is as good as life
Yeah.
gets.
Just
so
looks
I'm
even
gonna
better
make the
just in
most
like
of
a
it.
normal pub with like a low ceiling.
Yeah.
It's
It's
right
probably
that far
smaller
off the
than
top.
this room.
Yeah, smaller than
Yeah.
this room
Yeah.
kind of thing.
Then we went back into school on Monday feeling
Heroes.
Yeah, feeling
Yeah.
great.
Did you play a lot of local shows? Like, what was your favorite place to play in your early days?
That was a parish.
There was a great guy. Well, there was a great guy. He's not dead. There is a great guy in Wrexham called Kev who owns a couple of places. So he owns Parish and he owns Rocking Chair. And he was one of
promo,
those.
this.
Yeah, I'm just. Yeah, he deserves it. He's one of those guys who'd like put you on a show completely last minute, like
Yeah.
regardless of whether you're going to sell tickets or anything like that. So we had a festival. Our first ever festival we were going to play got cancelled because of like weather or
like
something.
half an hour before we meant to go.
Yeah,
And
so he was like, "Yep, no worries, I'll stick you on." So we had a set there that evening. But yeah, so Parish was the place where we used to play the most, and now it's kind of turned into a small shrine
for us,
to us a little bit. There's like Ben's lyrics are on the wall,
Oh,
so like
nice.
going back there now. My parents were in there the other day and just said it's really creepy.
I think we're having,
Oh,
I think we're having a mural on the side of there soon as well,
yeah,
Yeah, he wants to, doesn't he?
it's lovely.
apparently. So
He's
So
a
that's
top- he's a
like
top bloke,
your
yeah.
hometown show then.
Yeah.
yeah, local heroes.
Does like 70 people, but it's a great atmosphere in there. Spot.
It is, yeah. He's been so helpful to us, the
Yeah, he's
owner.
a good lad.
Yeah, really kicked things off. Because you need to, hone your craft and play these little venues. Otherwise, when you get to the big ones, you'll be way out of your depth.
Yeah, I've talked
In
to a
other
few
words.
other bands who felt like they blew up too big. They didn't
Really?
have time to be bad.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah, it's
like-
so
We said that a lot-
important.
we said that a lot with these
COVID
bigger
was
stage,
huge
haven't we?
for
Where
us.
it's like if we got put into these, like when you said like with the jump up in crowd, if we got put into this like 5 years ago, even 3 years ago, maybe we would be like
Yeah.
completely out of
already,
depth.
yeah.
Whereas because it's been like Ben said before,
Yeah.
such a gradual growth. Nothing's really come to us since the start where we felt overwhelmed or a fish out of water. Everything's felt quite comfortable and it's a step up. But
We always say, don't
Step up
we?
we got in us.
COVID came at a perfect time for us.
Yeah.
Because we just started gigging. We did one tiny tour. And then COVID hit and we had to just practice for a year and a half.
yeah, released music like that.
Released, yeah, we just recorded luckily. So we got to release in lockdown when most people couldn't. And then just practice. And we got half decent coming out of it. So yeah.
Do you remember what your first show was back after COVID was?
Yeah. No,
It was at Manchester
Manchester.
Academy.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
It was actually like
Your
3
memory.
days.
I'm thinking of pre-COVID.
I think, yeah.
Slide sneezies.
I think it was like 3 days after you were legally allowed to have like a gathering in a room of above, 30, 40 people. I think it was like right after that happened. Because we had a tour booked, didn't we? We were praying that it was going to be able to go ahead, and that was crazy. I think it was like 400 cap.
Yeah, and the crowd. 'Cause
Yeah.
Obviously, you've been
Yeah,
bunkered
it was
away
like
for so long. The crowd
18
was
months
just-
of brewing of a fan base growing for us, and
Yeah.
I think after that, I kind of felt like, you know what, there is actually like a noticeable buzz.
Yeah.
Even like in those smaller venues, 100, 200 people, it was like everywhere we go, there's a good little buzz around. People are turning out, and
I
Just
think
carried
people's
on.
attitude shifted having it taken away. Like
Yeah.
once it came
Yeah.
back, we're like, oh, okay, we
Yeah,
gotta
like
make
not
sure.
taking it
saw,
for granted.
saw a picture of like Sam Fender doing a gig
Yeah.
over like the COVID
Yeah,
one, where like
yeah.
everyone's in like a weird sort of
They're all
weird,
sat
like,
down, aren't they? In
yeah,
their little
like weird
platforms.
prison cell mini thing.
Oh, really?
And you kind of look at that and you're like, yeah, no wonder everyone missed it so much. That looks terrible.
Yeah. Are you gonna get to play any of these venues?
Maybe one day.
yeah.
I mean, hopefully Glasgow.
We played Albert Hall loads, didn't we?
Yeah.
Yeah, true. Actually, yeah.
So that Seat Headrest one, we played it like 3 or 4 times now, and it's actually one of my favourites we've ever played. Like a really
Beautiful.
stunning old sort
Yeah.
of church,
Big
in-
organ behind
yeah,
you.
organ behind it in the middle of Manchester. And not like huge either, like sort of I don't know, like 2,000 or something like that. So it still feels, you still see everyone kind of thing. But yeah, that's a really beautiful venue, and hopefully Glastonbury.
Yeah.
If
But
you're
not
actually
for-
minute,
but only one day.
Only one day. It's got to be the first day.
First
Otherwise,
days.
First day.
Yeah, first day, then we're out of
Yeah,
there.
no,
As early
done.
as possible as well, please.
So what do you guys got coming up?
So playing LA today with Louis Tomlinson, and then we've got a day off in Vegas tomorrow.
Hey.
Which are, actually, you weren't asking about that, though.
Yeah, I feel like we're kind of making out that the best part is just the non-gigging days, but we love the gigs as well. Let's say that.
Yeah, then we got so playing in Vegas in a couple of days. We've got a couple of gigs along the West Coast and in Texas.
I think tonight's going to be amazing as well. It's that crypto arena,
Yeah.
which is looks pretty special.
Very cool.
And then you're supporting Kings of Leon next month,
Yeah.
which we're all huge Kings of Leon fans. Huge Kings of Leon fans. And
Definitely going to stutter my way through any interaction with them. Voice breaks
Just
galore.
stood there smiling. I'm like,
Hello.
really nervous.
and then I think just getting on with the album, writing that.
You're kind of busy, but do you have any shows coming up as a fan? Like anybody you're looking forward to seeing?
Nah, I think so.
We'll see the
Strokes
Strokes end of the year, hopefully.
I really want to go see Wilco.
I was gonna say,
Yeah.
it
They're
does
playing
put that
in
the,
they're playing in
chat, don't they?
London, and they don't tour that much as a band, but they've got some like unbelievable albums. Never seen them yet, so I think they're playing Hammersmith in London. So that's on the to-do list for October, I think. Forgot to say we're actually playing back in LA, aren't we?
Oh yeah, we should say that.
Probably do some shameless self-promo.
Yeah.
You know, I think
That's what you're here for.
stage is ours. Thank you. I think we're playing back in Moroccan
Lounge.
Okay.
Yeah.
Does that sound about right?
Yeah.
Yeah, playing in October, I think. It's going to play back here. So our first headline show in the States, really. So that's going to be good fun.
How you guys put together a set list for your own headline gigs?
A lot of arguing and
Less
back and
arguing than
forth.
it used to be, I reckon.
Yeah.
I think now they're kind of
Just comes
most
down
of them
to
are
guitar
agreed.
changes. now,
Yeah.
doesn't it?
So
Yeah,
it's
it's just
easiest.
those little. It's just tiny bits and logistical things that you argue over. We've got the start and end now.
Okay.
It's just the
It's
middle.
the middle 15 that we just bitch about with each other. Kind of thing. But,
Do y'all have different songs to play? Like favorite songs to play?
I think at the moment
I think it's
all-
pretty similar to be
pretty
fair.
similar.
The one I was saying before was that we've only just started playing it off the second album, the Ballad of Glen Campbell. That's my favourite, and I think
yeah, that's good fun
Yeah.
to play.
most
That's good crack.
people's.
Basically,
just-
most of the stuff we have in our 30-minute set.
Yeah,
That's why.
yeah.
That's all good fun to play.
Well, thank you so much for sharing your memories, and I hope you have an amazing show today.
Thank you.
Yeah,
And
thank you.
we'll see you when you come back.
Yeah, thanks for
so
taking
much.
the
Yeah,
time.
appreciate
Thank you.
Yeah.